evening, everybody. Welcome to Black History Month cooking class. Today, we're so excited because we've got Chef Rob. Hi, Chef Rob.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy to be here.
Great. And we're back again after last year. We did so good.
That was a good time last year.
It was really fun. So we're excited to have you back. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I want you to share with everybody who you are and why you're here. We've got a great meal. You're going to give everybody all the information on what we're cooking.
Absolutely.
And then for people that are going to come back next week, they're going to be all set to go
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
ready for
I
them.
think next week we're going to have more of a live audience.
Yes, we will.
Thank you for that.
All right. I'll leave the floor to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So hi everyone, my name is Chef Rob. I am a private chef in the city. I've had the pleasure to work in many places around the world, and now I'm here in front of the camera cooking for you. We're celebrating Black History Month. So we're going to be cooking some recipes directly related to culture. So we're going to do 3 recipes tonight. We have brown stewed chicken, which we're starting off with. Then we're going to get into peas and rice. Don't tell me I'll call it rice and peas. We can keep that debate going if you like. And then we also have a curried sweet potato and ginger soup. So let's get started. So this brown stewed chicken. I'm going to start off. I have some chicken thighs here. I like the bone-in chicken thighs, but I've actually taken the skin off. I know some people really, really like the skin. I took the skin off because, for me, if the skin can't be crispy, there's no reason to have it. So we are going to start by marinating this chicken here. I'm going to get a little bit of oil. I use coconut oil because it just goes with what we're cooking, right? You should always use the appropriate oil for the dish that you're making. Then I'm going to get a little bit of garlic in here, a little bit of ginger in here as well. A little bit of paprika. I like smoked paprika. You get that in there. A little bit of soy. Some onion. A little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. And I always like using pepper. So bring in some thyme here. It's okay if there's a little bit of these branches in there. It's just fine. We just really want to make sure that we get the leaves in there, get all that flavor. I like being pretty generous with this thyme because it has such a fantastic flavor. Now we want to give this a really nice mix. Make sure everything gets mixed around properly. And the best thing to do with this is to leave it for a few hours, or you can leave it overnight. Now, another important step when we are doing brown stew chicken is actually browning the sugar. Now, it's a very important step. A lot of people like to use browning. There's absolutely nothing wrong with using browning, but this is the way that I was taught. So this is the way that I'm gonna go with it. bit of coconut oil in there. Make sure this thing is getting hot. We have some brown sugar here. We got some people trying to tune in on IG. But I got Mark asking me, no, I am not on the island, Mark. I am in Winnipeg. Big shout out to everyone who's watching on Instagram right now. We are doing live cooking. We are at Red River College downtown in Winnipeg, and we are celebrating Black History Month. And for those of you joining us, this is the first recipe. We are doing brown sushi. All right, I'm just waiting for this pan to get hot here. I'm going to switch spots here. So we got a little bit of coconut oil in there. Again, there we go. That's exactly what we want. And then I have some brown sugar here. So what I'm going to do with this brown sugar is I want to caramelize it in here. The lighter of the brown sugar that you have, the longer it's going to take to caramelize. We're going to get this right in here. And it does take a little bit of time, but I promise you, it is worth it. So this is an ingredient I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about brownie, because this is something that I brought up saying you can use brownie if you want, instead of caramelizing the sugar. So all this really is liquefied caramel. The way it's made is you actually burn the sugar just like how you do it in the pan here. And then from there, you actually add a little bit of hot water and then just give it a really good whisk. And you get this beautiful liquid. Right now we can see it getting, it's starting to caramelize. Now this is one of those steps that as it's happening, you do not want to step away. Because if your sugar gets too dark, and your chicken is gonna end up with a bitter flavor. And if your sugar just really burns, and it is gonna smoke a little bit, just like how you see it here. Since it's in oil, it is not going to solidify. That's exactly what we want. Now it's starting to get a little bit of bubbling there. Perfect. So you want to stand back a little bit at this point. And this is the point where we're going to add our chicken. You want to get a tiny bit darker there. Yeah, sure, just get those really deep, dark ribbons of color. And you want to pour the chicken in, but you want to pour this in away from you. So this chicken that I had has been marinating actually for a couple days. So those people that are here are in for a real treat. We just want to make sure that this chicken is just nice and coated in that caramel. Whenever we're cooking, we want to build levels of flavor. And when you're cooking, usually color equals flavor. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit to have it on pretty high. And you know, I'm gonna give everyone an IG a quick look at this. I don't know if you guys can see. We got that dark caramel color on that chicken, and it's cooking right now. And what we want to happen is we want that chicken to start releasing its own juice. Okay, so you may be jumping around a little bit. I'm going to cover this just for a couple minutes. Again, we want that internal heat to come right up, and all those juices starting to get released. I always like to season a little bit as we go. A little bit extra salt in there. And our ground stew chicken is going on its way. Now, where would you find ground stew chicken? Well, pretty much on any island in the Caribbean. Depending on what island you go to, everyone's going to think it as their own. I cannot say who claims it as their own, who it is, but it's an absolute delicious dish. And for me, this is always a toss-up between ground beef chicken and curry chicken. We're just going to give it another little box here. As you can see, everything is in some really fantastic color. We're just going to let that simmer for a second. Keep an eye on that. Okay, I'm going to get these ingredients here ready to finish off. Actually, going to move this to the side a little bit when we get our new one going. All right. We're going to finish this one soon, but we're just going to let it cook. Cooking takes a little bit of time. Okay, so our next one, the next recipe that we're going to get going here is peas and rice. So when it comes to peas and rice, now don't get it twisted. You can actually have this dish with beans. Beans and peas is just very interchangeable. I am using peas this time. I'm using pigeon peas. You take a look at these. Take a look at these. So pigeon peas, once they're cooked, you know, they're brown, they're really nice and soft in there. I know I've heard them referred to as rungle beans as well. When you get them, they are When they're fresh, they're green. So even if you get the can, you can get green, or you can get the brown. So while our chicken is stewing, we are going to get a little bit of this going. We'll start off with some onions. Onions, the foundation. So many great recipes. Let those onions cook for a little bit. Let's just take a quick peek back here on our stewed chicken. So I'm looking at this right now. You guys you can't see this, but now there's a lot of liquid starting to come up in there. I'm gonna give it another little pause. And then I have I'm gonna add a little bit of red peppers to this. I have the white part of the scallion in here, or green onion. I like to use a little bit of tomato paste in here. I know some recipes call for ketchup, but there's nothing wrong with using that ketchup. I just think that the tomato paste just adds a little bit more of a robustness to the sauce. That is looking fantastic. I'm going to add a little bit of chicken broth here. And this is where the stew part really comes in. It was stewing in its own juices, and you know, I guess the chicken broth technically is its own juice as well. So we're going to put that back to simmer, and then we're going to hop back on this peas and rice. So onions in there right now, a little bit of salt. Get a little bit of ginger in there. You are noticing like some similar ingredients being repeated. Some garlic. And then we'll just stir to get those aromatics going. You know, one thing I forgot about this stewed chicken is Scotch bonnet. Do not forget Scotch bonnet. Scotch bonnet peppers, you'll find these in a lot of Caribbean cooking. Not to say that other peppers aren't used, but this is probably one of our most famous peppers. You chop it up, and it's very, very hot. But when you are making soups and stews, this is something that's very, very nice just to actually just throw in there. So we're just going to put it in whole. Okay, back to the rice and peas. We got some ginger in there, we got some garlic, we got some onion. I'm going to add these peas, these pigeon peas in here. We just want to get these nice and coated so they can absorb all that flavor. Then we're going to add the rice. This is just some white rice. You can use white rice, you can use parboiled rice. Some people use basmati rice. We just got our rice in there. You want to give it a stir. That chicken is bubbling very, very nicely. Okay. Now, this rice and peas. This liquid is actually from the can of. Now, I know in a lot of recipes it says, you know, to rinse your beans and rinse your peas. You do that if you need to, but there are some recipes where this liquid actually comes in very handy and it adds a richness to this. So I'm going to add that along with some coconut milk. Some chicken broth. Give that a nice stir. We definitely want our aromatics in there. So again, these are a lot of common ingredients you'll see used over and over again, but depending on how you use them is how they come out. You have a question here?
We have a question.
Yeah.
Measurement. How much of each ingredient are you using?
Well, I'm gonna have recipes for you guys after.
Okay, great.
And so I get that thyme in there. And again, we got another one of these, another touch on it, ready to go. Bomb it away. So we just want to bring this up to a boil, and then we'll put it on a simmer. This stew chicken is looking absolutely fantastic. I gotta show my IG fan. I don't know if you guys can see this pepper in there. I can't tip too much, otherwise it's gonna spill. But everything is going fantastic. All right, give me 1 minute here while I do a little housekeeping, and then we're going to start on our next dish, and everything is going to come together all at once. Do we have any questions from the audience right now? All right.
While you're dating, I feel bad for you who's not here because it's not delicious. So go to BHMWinnipeg.com. Make sure you send an email to register for next week because then you can get all of the beautiful aroma of this delicious food. Ron, what do you like best about what you do as a chef?
What do I like best about what I do as a chef? Well, you know, I think it's cooking for people, but also being, while I'm doing that, food is how I express it. So the ingredients and the plate, everything is my medium. And if I can express myself in an artistic way, and a delicious way for other people to receive it, I think that's the best part, because you can always talk in, culinary terms and cooking jargon. Not everybody gets that, but what everybody gets is that flavor, right? That I feel that everything when a plate of food is in front of you. So that's what I enjoy the most, just being able to deliver.
And I think we talked about this last year, talked about what you love about the history of food that you create, and the dishes that you work with, or the different places that you've been. How do you connect that with history?
Very good question. I connect Black history with a lot of places that I travel to. I do travel a lot to the Caribbean, and every single time I go there, I learn something. Growing up in a Caribbean household, you learn things a lot. Not just about the food, you learn about your culture. But going and visiting the place really brings that out, because there's always that person that's in the grocery store that that just mentions something to you, or you see an ingredient and you think, how do you cook with it, right? And then there's someone there just to say, hey, this is what you do, and it could be anyone. So just constantly learning is something that I really love about our culture, and I always consider myself forever.
I'm sure your parents probably have a big influence on how you cook.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
If you had to pick one of your most memorable foods, what would that be?
Boom. One of my most memorable foods. I think it was, and it might sound very simple. I think it was the time when I really just nailed it on the curve.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was keep
Keep it right.
We're gonna have to argue about this all night.
But
it is rice and peas, Rob.
Is it right? And that's always the thing, right? You can go into chicken curry and curry chicken. We're gonna be here all night.
Well, you can hit up on Instagram. Which one's your preference? Is it curry chicken or chicken curry?
Yes.
Peas and rice or rice and peas?
Okay, so we'll do that. So the idea is it rice and peas, or peas and rice, curry chicken, or chicken curry? Okay? You guys got to.
We're gonna be here all night.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you go.
We're gonna be here all
While
night.
you deal with your people.
All right. So I'm going to slide everything down a little bit here. Going. Okay. Okay, soup. Let's make a fantastic soup. So we are making a curried sweet potato and ginger soup, and I actually have some crispy chickpeas to go on top of it. But first we're going to start off with, we have to season these sweet potatoes. Interesting thing about sweet potatoes in the Caribbean, they are one of the top 5 important crops all over the Caribbean. And the great thing about sweet potatoes is that they can grow almost anywhere. So it's very easy to cultivate, so you can see why it's become safe. So we'll start off with a little bit of this coconut oil. This is probably maybe around a pound. And then we're going to add some spices to it. So I have a little bit of chili powder here. A little bit of garam masala. Garam masala means hot mixture. A little bit of cinnamon. Cinnamon is one of my favorite spices to use. It's got so many different applications, not just sweet, but savory. We're going to get that cinnamon in there. And then a little bit of paprika. I just want to give this a really nice sauce here. Get it nice and coated. So after this, we want to roast these in the oven. We want to get them really nice and soft. And here we go. That was pretty quick. That was pretty quick. I don't know what the oven you guys got, but that's pretty quick. I'm taking a quick peek at all this, everything else. It's going. It's going. Turn this down a little bit. Okay, let's get this back up here. Okay. So I'm using a different type of coconut oil here. I was using the liquid one before. I do like the one in the solid form. The liquid one has its own application, but I just wanted to show you that there's differences. You can still use them. Onions. Again, the base of so many fantastic dishes. You always want to let your onions cook a little bit. I know that in some recipes they say, you know, get them so they're a little bit translucent. Some of them want to be a little bit more golden. But really always think about what you're doing with it. I like for them to have at least a little bit of color in it because remember what I said? Color equals flavor. I let those cook for a little bit. And since we got these other dishes going on, we're gonna keep on checking in. First, peas and rice. That is coming together. Fantastic. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. No. Let's do chicken. Let's do chicken. I'm actually going to leave the lid off because I want that liquid to start concentrating a little bit. I'm just going to leave that off. So we're hopping back to the soup here. starting to get a little bit of color on those onions. You just want them a little bit golden. Now we can add our garlic and our ginger. Now I know a lot of times in recipes, when you see people adding garlic and ginger, they're adding it in right away, right at the beginning. It's up to you if you want to do that. But all I'm saying is that if you're cooking on high heat, your garlic is going to burn. So that's why it's always, for me, important to get those onions in, those onions sweating. And once your onions are sweating, you'll get to the point where they're providing enough moisture in the pan that your garlic is not going to burn. Curry powder. Get that curry in there. You can really smell that curry. Whenever you're working with curry, you want to cook your curry. You want to help activate those flavors. I can smell that right now. Okay, so these incredibly fast roasted sweet potatoes that I did. Get them in there. Give them a really good mix. And then you want to add some chicken broth. You can use vegetable broth if you like. So now the good thing about this is that everything just kind of has to be hot, right? Because those potatoes are already cooked, so they're very soft already. I'm going to turn that up a little bit. Again, we're always going back and checking on what else we have going on. Okay, to multitask when you're cooking. Just make sure you keep an eye on everything that you need. We want to bring this up to a boil. Once that comes up to a boil, we're going to add a little bit of this coconut cream. So big difference between coconut milk and coconut cream. Big difference between coconut milk and coconut cream is the fat content. So your fat content with coconut cream is going to be anywhere from 50 to 80% fat, and it is going to be very, very thick. This is coconut cream. Coconut milk, again, it's a lot thinner. So you can use light coconut milk. Light coconut milk, I say, is probably better for, you can use it in rices. Some soups and stews, depending on how light of the texture you want. I like the coconut cream, that like full fat coconut cream when it comes to a lot of dishes, because I feel like it just really gives it that richness. It's just about starting to boil there. Okay, so we do have a small audience here. Now, stewed chicken rice and peas, soup. You have to pick one.
Chicken.
Chicken. Everybody's going with the chicken. Everyone just wants to eat. Everyone just wants straight meat. It is actually almost as well, I think. When it gets that point, I can actually add a little bit of this coconut cream. I'm just gonna add a tiny bit. I'm not gonna add a whole pan first. Want that going again. And again. Hello, old friend. Nice to see you again. Get that Scotch bonnet in there. We're gonna go over to this stewed chicken, and this is just about ready. You guys don't want none of this.
Yes, we do.
Well, I always have to taste. So well, you guys don't want none of this, do you? Back to this rice. Rice is almost done. I know typically when you're making rice, you don't keep on stirring it. That's kind of something that I do. I like stirring the pot. Now we're getting a nice little, starting to get a nice little simmer, turning into a boil on this soup. Again, remember what I said. All we really need is this soup to actually come up to a boil, because sweet potatoes are soft. We've softened the onions, the ginger, the garlic, so all these things that are in there are soft and ready to go. Now, although this is just one pepper in here, I think by blending this pepper here, it could get a little too spicy. And I know there's some people out there that say you can't have it too spicy. I believe yes you can, and it really comes down to the dish. But it's your food, so you just have to make sure that you have it the way you like it. So I got an immersion blender here, and love immersion blenders, especially when you're making soup in the pot. Because sometimes when you have to take it out and put it into a blender, there's always that risk of spilling it, putting too much in. But if you do put hot liquid in a blender, do not fill it more than halfway, and make sure that you have a cloth over your hand and you're holding it down. Kind of want to move it around. kind of tilting this spot because the immersion blenders work best the deeper they go. Okay, I think that's it. All right, time for another little taste test.
Take a seat.
Sorry, I have to take a moment there. Take a moment, a little caught up. Yeah, this is exactly where we want it. And this rice is almost done. And this chicken can just keep on stewing until it's ready to go. So, time to plate. We'll start off with the all right, soup. Here we go. Here's an interesting tip. If you are labeling out soup, and you know how sometimes that ladle always drips, you take that ladle, you dip that little end back into the soup, and it stops dripping. So you go like this, you go like that, you see we're getting some drip. Give it a little back down into the soup, and it stops. So we have that soup here. I still have some of this coconut cream, so I am going to add a little dollop of that coconut cream. And then I have these crispy chickpeas. This will be included in the recipe. I warn you, highly addictive. Highly addictive. A little bit on top. Now I'm just going to finish it with a little bit of chives on top. Just a little bit of chives. Just need a really good color there. I know you guys can't hear this home, but in my background, what I hear is that chicken. saying, he's saying, Chef, I'm ready. Okay, so there is our soup. Get that chicken going. For those of you that have not had stewed chicken before, when you eat this, you are in for an absolute treat. You get that savoriness, a little bit of that sweetness from the browning of the sugar. And to anyone who's made this before, I'm hoping that if you haven't tried the burnt sugar method before, that you do try it. It seems intimidating, but it is quite easy. You just have to pay attention.
So we're back up on here. We're back up on here.
You're back up on there?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're back. While we had that momentary lapse in the internet, we ate all the food. None left. Well, I'll just do an Instagram stories for my finishing on that one. I'm gonna sit there and mess with it. Okay, so here you have it. We have 3 very simple recipes that we did here. I know if you were watching the whole time, there were a lot of similarities, right? We used a lot of onion, we used the garlic, we used a lot of ginger, and you can use a lot of the same ingredients for so many different types of dishes. But as I said before, it depends on how you use them will affect the result. So don't be afraid to have certain ingredients in your repertoire. The more ingredients or the more common ingredients that you always use, the more you're actually going to understand them and be able to get different results from them. So here we have brown stewed chicken, peas and rice, and a curried sweet potato and ginger soup. Thank you everyone for joining. And we'll see you next week. We're going to pull up Nadia first.
Masterful. It's artwork. Isn't it? It's just like artwork. It's so good. I'm so happy that you joined us again. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure being here.
I know it takes a lot out of your time. You're super busy, but I appreciate that very, very much.
Well, you got to
Where
make time
can
for
they-
your community, right?
Yes. And where can they find you?
You can find me on all platforms at Chef Rob Thomas.
Great. So we will have everything posted for all of those of you who would like to get that recipe. And again, if you are going to join us next Thursday, it's limited seating, so you got to get in there quick. We have about halfway capacity. So if we get everybody in, we'll get everybody in. For those who can't join us and don't get in, we'll be back here live again.
Yeah.
So thank you so much to the Red River College, PolyTech, Paterson Global Food Institute for hosting us. It's a beautiful spot, so we love it here. Thank you so very much. And this weekend, we've got a lot going on for Black History Month. So we've got our youth debate and research challenge on Saturday, which is at 11 a.m. Don't come at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. It's at 259 Watt Street, which is the Afro-Caribbean Association of Manitoba. It is a free event. Come out and encourage our young people. And we also have Coast to Coast Sports, a tribute to Black basketball tournament this weekend. So it's on Friday and Saturday. and that's at MBCI, which is 218 Riverton Avenue. And Ackham also has a movie night, and they're showing The Women King. So that's back at 259 Watt Street in the evening. So go to our website, all the information is there. We also have our Black History Month history lesson on Monday at the Jamaica Association of Manitoba. That is 1098 Winnipeg Avenue. So we've got lots to do all weekend long. There's other events. Go to our website, check it out there. We want to see you. We want you to take part in Black History Month this year and every year. So thank you again to Rob.
Yes, thank you. And if you thought that we had fun this week, just wait till next week. I got some special things I'm cooking up next week.
We'll be back next week again. Thank you so much to all our friends that are here helping us out. We're gonna eat, so I'm gonna have to say bye.